How does this affect the regular roles of the police? Policing, let's call it the normal duties of the police.
The Israeli police are continuing regular operations all across the country. We're in fact seeing a number of crimes that have taken place have even minimized during this period due to the fact that people are staying at home. We've seen less road accidents as well. That in fact is something which is beneficial for the Israeli police. Our main focus is concentrating on dealing with the spread of the coronavirus. I'll give you an example. Our police officers, special task force units have visited over 30,000 people that are in isolated areas and have to be in isolated areas due to the 14-day period that when someone either comes back from abroad or has been confirmed that he has been in an area near someone who was in fact confirmed with coronavirus, they have to go into that 14-day period. Our police units are patrolling across the country, making contact with individuals, making sure that they are in that isolated area for the safety of themselves and the safety of the public. I also want to confirm and explain what the Israeli National Police are doing with the different data systems and information that there is across the different networks. And I'm talking about government networks. For example, the Israeli National Police are using their databases, working closely together with the borders and the databases, and also working with the Ministry of Health databases. All of that information is absolutely important so that we can use the information together, both from the Israeli National Police, from the Ministry of Health, and from the borders, to know where people should be at what given time, and we're, of course, working together. And in fact, there are more than 70,000 people that are still in isolated areas.
It seems that the enforcement of the regulation works in most of the country, but there are at least two areas where this is problematic. One is the ultra-Orthodox community, and the other one is the Arab sector. How do you deal with that?
That's absolutely correct. I would say 90%, even more than 90% of the population are understanding and implementing the new regulations and laws. Excuse me. What we are in fact doing now is making sure that we have enough police officers to emphasize the messages in and around, for example, the ultra-religious communities, the Haredi communities across Israel. Why? Because not everybody has a phone, not everybody has a television there. In fact, the majority of people don't even have a phone and a television, and therefore we're making close contact with the leaders of the communities, with the rabbis, getting the message out, making sure that people are keeping their distances as much as possible. Another important point is there are no gatherings for prayers at the moment. All the major synagogues, all the synagogues across the country have been shut down. People can gather in courtyards up to a given number of 10, which is the minimum number in order to pray, to carry out those religious ceremonies. And we know that 10 people can gather, will pray, and then will leave. So our police officers over the last 48 hours have stepped up patrols in Mea Shearim, in Jerusalem, for example, in the ultra-religious neighborhoods, in Bnei Brak, and therefore we're emphasizing the policing in those areas. With regard to the Bedouin community and also the Arab community down south as well, strong emphasis on many thousands of people that are living in tents and huts in open areas in the desert. And our units are also there patrolling the areas, using loudspeakers to get the message out, making sure that people are dispersed and people are not together. We're doing everything possible, mapping out the areas, getting the message out, and also discussing with the leaders of the communities, both the Bedouin, both the Israeli Arab community, and of course with the ultra-religious Haredi community as well.
The feeling is that we are approaching a much harsher phase, of total quarantine. How is the police preparing for that?
We've carried out assessments over the last 24 hours. We're fully ready to implement any government decision that will be made if the Prime Minister decides, due to the fact that the spread of the coronavirus has reached a level which has caused the government to make a decision. That government decision will be implemented. And if we need to lock down certain areas, half the country, the whole country, we're ready to do so. We have enough police officers, border police that will be working together with our units, And also we will receive also personnel from the IDF that can work and patrol with the different units. That means on the ground there will be roadblocks that will be set up and cities will be shut down. Traffic police working on the roads to make sure that there is no one driving in between the cities. The only people that will be allowed to maneuver around will be people who have specific jobs working for government organizations, doctors, nurses, etc. Essential jobs will be able to allow to move. The rest of the public will be on lockdown.
Will the police forces be enough, or the police will need reinforcement from the IDF?
There will be reinforcements for the IDF. That's part of the plan at this moment in time. That's what will take place on the ground. But we have to remember, the main efforts has to be together with the public, getting the message out. We need people to stay home. We need people to stay safe. This is a period of time which will pass. We're hoping it's not going to be too long. We don't know that specific time, but we know this is an ongoing spread of the virus. It's not happening just today and tomorrow. It's also going to happen next week as well. We've seen the high graph and number, both of people that are now in hospitals. There are medical centers and drive-in areas that have also been set up in coordination with MDA. And there is the national effort, which is continuing. And we're ready to deal with anything absolutely necessary to deal with.
What about the protection of the police officers? I mean, they are in touch with the public. I mean, how do you take care of that?
Significantly important and tremendously important for our officers to stay safe as well. Our officers, of course, are wearing gloves and masks. Our officers as well are fully protected. When we make a visit to someone in their house, of course, we're fully protected as well. We're taking every necessary step and precaution, both for our officers and, of course, to make sure that if someone is suspected of having the coronavirus, we'll make sure that they are also taken to hospital and, in fact, escorted to hospital if necessary. That's something that we're doing as well. I can also add and explain that the police operations that have taken place and arrests that have been made of suspects that have fled the isolation when they were meant to be in isolation, our officers have been fully protected from head to toe, including breathing apparatus if necessary, and we have all the equipment if needed.
Last question. Are you in touch with the police forces elsewhere in Europe or other countries to learn from them, share information, etc.?
The Israeli police are constantly in contact with different police forces and organizations, security organizations around the world. That is something that has taken place even before the period and what has taken place with the coronavirus. At the moment, we are in contact. We'll continue to be if necessary. And of course, everything is done by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in full coordination. But at the moment, we have to look ahead into what is taking place on the ground, what is the next step, what is the next stage, and the Israeli police are fully involved in the national efforts.
Superintendent Micky Rosenfeld, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us, and Yishar Koach to you and all the police officers. Thank you.
Thank you very much and be safe.
Thank you. Bye. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Toda.